downhill from here. Squeeze me?
15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Recording.
It peaked. Yeah, see, I'm fucked now. It's just all over.
The pit of despair. Don't even think. Don't even think about trying to escape.
Great episode of Film Speak happening here today. I have Izzy and Mark from Gem City Podcast, who I have the pleasure of working with. Now, this is actually Mark's second time on the show, and the first time we talked about Big Trouble in Little China. So, of course, with our love for Kurt Russell, man crush going on here, we're going to be talking about Escape from New York today. If you know me, you know I can't get enough of John Carpenter films. Just like John Carpenter, Hitchcock, I can watch these movies over and over again. So we're going to talk about Gem City, the Gem City Podcast, and we're going to talk about Dayton and how great Dayton is, and how if you don't like Dayton and you bitch about it, you should probably just move the fuck out before I bitch slap you. Okay, because this is my city. We are hard, we are artistic, and we are some great people. And that'll be shown by when we sit down and talk with the Gem City Podcast people, because they have been, for the past few years, working hard to show positive light on Dayton and all the people in Dayton. So stay tuned, have some great conversation coming up.
The day you left me, I almost died. Listening to my cure tapes till I started to cry. Kicked in my tape deck with a combat boot. Then I went to town to find something to shoot. Ended up at a stop and go, but why there? But the cashier was pretty, so I pulled her hair. She tried to slap me and spray me with mace, but that just made me mad and I spat in her face. After that, I don't know why, but we fell in love. I guess you really liked it when push came to shove. Life was keen and sex was good, but after 2 weeks she went to Hollywood. Left me for a biker with a ring in his nose. I'll never figure it out, that's just how it goes. That's when I decided to live life apart from the woman in the world that just broke my heart. That's when I met her.
Okay, so here we are with the Bocce Courts, the Italian Lodge, Belleville Lodge, Indian Ripple Road, K-Town, Ohio. Hey, this is the scene. We're going to have the Garlic Fest. We're going to have the Bocce Classic, and we're going to have the Italian Festa. So think about all that. This is where it's going to be. There's the bocce. There's the field. There's the stage. There's the music, the wine, the food. Love it. See you guys.
After that, I don't know why, but we fell in love. I guess you really liked it when push came to shove. Life was great and sex was awesome, but after a month she moved out to Boston.
Hey everybody, welcome to What's Happening Dayton number 18, now produced by Bill Miller. I'm Izzy Rock, one of the hosts and producers of the Gem City Podcast, and welcome to Dayton. This past week, the first annual Dayton Podfest kicked off on Friday, June 3rd, 2016 at the Yellow Cab building. I want to thank Ryan Hawk and the Learning Leaders Show. I want to thank the Fresh Dope Podcast. I want to thank Bottom of the Bottle Podcast. I want to thank Completely Straight Podcast. And I want to thank the crew from Gem City Podcast. Thanks to artist Kevin Pittman for painting on stage during the podcast. He painted a killer picture of Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Thanks to artist Noah Fowler and Studio Akumakazi for joining us as well. We had some great musical acts. I want to thank Tino, Grenades, Night Beast, and Team Void for joining us. Thanks to our sponsors, attorney Charles Rowland of Dayton DUI, Maker Faire of Dayton. Check out their event at Carillon Park on July 16th. I want to thank Real Art. And finally, I want to thank Gem City Podcast and the crew behind the scenes who do everything that they do to keep this podcast going. Thanks, guys. I think that's it, Bill. Thanks. Back to you.
15 miles an hour is a very fast speed. You travel on the sidewalk or find what you might need at the local market or very late at night. Trying or running from a fight. Living in a sewer 40 stories high. Swimming in your basement, you're catching her in a lie. Flying in an airplane or riding in a train. It really doesn't matter, the facts remain the same. Shoelaces so very, very long. Shoelaces so very, very strong. Hey! Shoelaces so very, very long.
Hi, my name is BJ with Studio Akumakazi. We're a Dayton-based art design studio. We do graphic novels, comics, a lot of original artwork. I'm here today at the Dayton Podfest, showing off some of our work. This is Melanie Collins and that's Alex Dealey. They're two of our newest artists. They're working on individual projects right now with different writers. We're best known for our comic Scrap, which is a science fiction manga-style comic book.
Shoelaces so very, very long. Shoelaces so very, very strong. Hey! Shoelaces so very, very long.
I think you're a guy who people go to quite often to ask for advice.
Very, very strong. You cannot live without them, unfortunately.
I will talk about times that you made me intoxicated or you don't cheat my food, alright? Don't hate.
They live so happily, they are so very different from everything around.
He is Tyler. Where the hell is the tequila?
Everyone complaining, they never make a sound. Shoelaces so very,
Wow, man, finally, on this stage, where I belong. It's a different environment for us.
very long. Shoelaces so very, very strong. Hey!
Roll Fat Man, hurry.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to say this is the entire crew of the Gem City Podcast that put on Podfest today. A lot of these folks are behind the scenes, so that's why we're getting photos, because it's the first time we're all in the same room together. So
You guys have never met each other. Yeah.
we have two people who've never met each other, so that's kind of crazy.
All right, I'm here with Izzy, the man of the evening, who pulled off an amazing evening tonight. Yes, fun night. We had bands, we had podcasts, we still got bands going, beer, food trucks, amazing. Izzy, any last words for the evening? Dayton Podfest 2017. You better plan on coming out and supporting Dayton Podfest 2017. We'll be here. See you guys.
Thank you guys so much for coming out to Podfest.
Welcome to Film Speak. We're back here with guest Mark DeGrossi. Did I say that right?
DeGrossa.
DeGrossa.
Gross, right in the middle.
DeGrossa.
DeGrossa.
Excellent. Is that Northern Italy?
Sicilian.
Sicilian. I will not fuck with you. Never trust a Sicilian when death's at stake.
Grandpa was Rocco from Jersey.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and you ended up in the middle of a bunch of krauts in Ohio.
It happens. Things happen. Sometimes you have to move.
Well, this is your second time on the show.
It is.
And we're again, later on, going to be talking about John Carpenter films again.
We are.
And joining you today is Izzy.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Now, these two gentlemen are from Gem City Podcast, which I now am lucky
Three
enough.
gentlemen.
Three gentlemen, because I am lucky enough to be working with you guys. Love it. And I you know how important I feel Gem City Podcast and the other podcasts in the area are to the city, especially what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We've spent the last 3 years exposing the Dayton area to all sorts of events, businesses, bands. Every Wednesday we feature a different band from the local area. And so I think we've had a positive impact on the city.
Well, I really like that you guys don't focus on one thing. It's anything Dayton, you know, restaurateurs, small business owners, politicians.
Festivals, interesting people.
Charities.
Yeah.
Community organizations and everything.
Yep.
You guys really work hard to expose Dayton, and in a positive way that it should be.
Yeah, and it's uncensored, so anybody can say or say anything they want, have any philosophy they want. It's really nice to sit down and have a conversation with somebody that's uncut. You don't get these sound bites, and so it's kind of, you know, like your show, Film Speak. It's a long form conversation, and I think people are missing that.
We're not forcing our opinions on anybody.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, so we don't attack anybody on this, you know, as we're recording. And if you're one view, that's your view. You know, we'll just explore your view and go, great, good view, you know. I may not agree with it, but it's a view.
Yeah.
Well, you know, which is a shame because that is really what America should be all about.
That's right.
You know, what really worries me, because I always say all the time, is the only thing that offends me is people who get offended, right? Because what scares the shit out of me is the day when you don't see anything that offends you anymore.
Yeah.
Because when that happens, you're living in a fascist state.
Yep.
You know, so you should just go out and be thankful that there's some guy out there doing something that pisses you off. That you live in a country where there can be people who are doing stuff that irritates you and pisses you off.
And that you care enough.
And that you care enough.
That you care enough to get pissed off.
Yeah.
Because the moment you stop caring that you're not pissed, something's gone horribly wrong. Something is wrong. Everybody's a Stepford wife.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that.
That's why I always loved that. I think that comes, you know, tangent. I'm famous for tangents. But there's a line in the Rage Against the Machine song, which is anger is a gift.
Yes.
You know, because people always take anger as a bad thing. But if you didn't get angry, you would never be motivated enough to change things.
That's
Well,
right.
if we didn't get angry, we would be talking like English. I mean, you know.
Because
our whole country's based on being angry, theoretically.
That's true.
You know.
There's some truth in that. I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, America was founded by
angry people.
Profiteers,
Profiteers,
criminals, religious zealots.
Yeah.
You know, and that's pretty much all the people who came here.
It's true.
Those who win write the history.
That's the truth.
Yeah, they were some brave souls to cross an ocean and not know what was on the other side.
Yeah.
And oftentimes not make it. Like we've seen many movies that show us what that stuff was like, but just to imagine the horrors that was there.
Oh yeah, it's and not to downgrade anybody's pain for today, for when violent things happen and when people are abruptly killed.
Sure.
But it was not that long ago that was a just ordinary daily thing of life. You know, Chuck died. Damn, that sucks. What's for dinner?
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
and that's why you had so many freaking kids.
Yeah.
You raised farmhands. You didn't raise kids.
Yeah, you raised farmhands, and you were thinking, well, if I have 20 kids, I'll probably have 10 make it to adulthood. So we better get busy.
That's true. Yeah. You know, and once we got to this country, people, like there were no highways. So once people set off to venture across the country, like this was a wild country.
Oh yeah. Well, you know the famous line, "Go west, young man."
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize he was talking about Ohio at the time, because that was as far west as they had been. So that line, "Go West, young man," people always think, the wagon trails, over in Colorado and Utah or whatnot. No, they were freaking talking about Ohio.
Nice.
Which, the turbulent history of Dayton, beginning with a war with Tecumseh and Native Americans in the area, And then that wasn't done by any really United States government. That was basically local farmers and Ohio militia and everything. Yeah, and that started off Dayton. I have loving my city.
Yes.
I have like 4 screenplays, ideas, notes. Like I have 3 pages of notes for each one of historical Dayton movies that I would love to do.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. And one is John Dillinger, because he spent a summer in Dayton.
Did he get arrested here?
He was arrested here,
Right.
and they took him up to Tip City Jail because they thought they would be able to keep him safer up there, get him out of Dayton.
Obviously, they didn't watch any of the movies.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. Yeah, his gang ambushed them as they were taking him into the jail in Tip City, which that would be the end of the movie.
Yes.
Is him escaping the jail in Tip.
Wow.
And I would love to do a movie on Patterson.
Yes.
Kind of about, because, before the Great Flood, he was in trouble. He had to go before the Senate for racketeering because he was having thugs go around to shop owners, and if you didn't have an NCR cash register, he beat you up and burned your store down.
I understand. Being Sicilian, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't understand this at all.
But he got saved. This is pretty bad. He got saved by the Great Flood because he's the one who put so much money into rebuilding Dayton and saving Dayton that they just kind of said, oh, this racketeering thing, we'll just push this out of the way.
And Doulahan, we recently had an Irish folk band, Doulahan. I think they have a song about Patterson's John boats, that he sent out a bunch of boats to collect everybody.
Yep.
And saved a bunch of people's lives.
Yeah. So that's to me, that's an interesting character because that shows the dichotomy of man. Because like on one hand, when he fired Kettering, he literally fired Kettering. Kettering was coming back from a lunch break, and he had his office, everything in his office, his desk, dragged into the front of their offices and lit it all on fire. So that when Kettering was walking up, he would see all his stuff just going up in smoke, which also great scene for a movie.
That would be a great scene. I was imagining that as a movie scene. That'd be great.
So Dayton, my city's more interesting than yours.
We did have Dillinger.
That's right.
We did
So
have
we had Dillinger.
Dillinger, Rod Serling.
So what about the other screenplays? Who else?
Well, one, I would like to do a fictional story of somebody of a blacksmith who lives from 1810 to the 1860s in Ohio, seeing everything that occurs from those time periods.
From his little shop, just kind of
from his little shop, watching how Dayton changes and having like his generation and his family. But it would mainly be a character story about him and his family. But the background would be the changing Dayton city from its meager beginnings, on up. And there are so many great places because I think it would be great to go with something like that and go to the tavern in Yellow Springs because the main room there was built in 1810.
Oh, nice.
And
it's a perfect setting.
Perfect setting.
That's a perfect setting.
Yeah.
But I think they have a blacksmith shop at Caroline, right?
Yeah.
Full working one? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you could pull off a lot of the history.
Theoretically, you'd be there, yeah.
For doing the Dillinger film, there are places in Dayton that you can go to, like off 3rd Street, across the river on 3rd Street. They're starting to remodel it, but still the original buildings from the 1930s.
I bet you could go in Century Bar.
I guess we all go to Century Bar and just dress as Dillinger outfits and clothes,
just fit right in.
Yeah, just do that.
So yeah, Dayton has an interesting history. If none of you ever realized it, I would say. And here's another one for our viewers. Dayton has more patents than any other city.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I knew they had a lot, but more than any other city.
More than any other city.
Wow.
Yeah, we and those patents include medical ones like the artificial heart, airplane, from seat belts to all the safety gadgets and everything involved with airplanes. I mean, it's just incredible. There's thousands and thousands of patents that came out of Dayton. We were once the invention capital of the world, and now we're #1 for heroin.
You know, as long as you're number one. And we're trying to fix that now.
As long as we're number one in something.
As long as we're number one. You don't want to be forgotten. So, no, we are trying to fix that.
We are trying to fix that.
We've got, we've actually had several podcasts on people that's really doing a hell of a job trying to bring knowledge to that and actually fix that problem.
And knowledge is the most important thing.
Yeah,
it is.
Because without knowledge, you're not forearmed, you're not forewarned.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how you start changing people's minds. Because I think the big problem that you have to overstep, especially in a city like Dayton, is the perception of what a heroin addict is.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, because people think of the dirty, grungy, you know, living under a street bridge, you know, unwashed type of person. But no, it's your soccer mom who got a knee injury and started taking pain pills, and then when they got off of them,
steps.
Yeah, and that's what it takes. But even with all that pain, I still love Dayton.
Yeah.
Every time I hear somebody say, I hate Dayton, I feel like reaching across and just smacking the fuck out of them.
It's because they don't know Dayton.
Because they don't know Dayton.
You got amazing arts. You got you know, the ballet. You've got the
food.
The food. I mean, you've got, this is a big city. This is a big city. It's like a black hole. It's a huge area shoved into Dayton.
Yeah.
You've got big city things happening here.
Yeah, I grew up as a young kid in East Dayton, and growing up young as kind of white trash, you are exposed to a lot of drugs and a lot of alcoholism and a lot of pain. And I just turned that inward and listened to a lot of hardcore and punk rock and hip hop, and I loved local music, went and saw local music. And so I kind of escaped Dayton and went to the suburbs when I started raising my kids.
Yeah.
Just because of the schools, like, let's be honest, they're not the greatest.
Unfortunately.
And I'm a blue collar guy, so I can't afford to send them to private school. So why not send them to a good public school? And then started doing podcasting, and we exposed. My attitude was let's change the city by doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many keyboard warriors on Facebook who sit and complain, and they're so cynical. And I understand their cynicism, but it takes people to get up and actually do something. And I think 3 years ago when we started doing the podcast, we didn't have any grand plan. It was to promote the city and to promote love. The founder, Eric, that was his big thing, that he was on this path to seek enlightenment and seek love. And he brought all these cool people together. And I think that the attitude that we took then and the people that he pulled together, one of the comments at Dayton Podfest was how positive we all were and how we all kind of want to help one another and help build each other up through the Gym City podcast. And I think that we've reached that point where people respect what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're almost at 300 episodes, and that's covered a lot of different types of people from all walks of life. And I think when you expose, like, we can talk about heroin addiction and stuff like that. It's a reality. Anybody who drives around Dayton, they can see the reality that it's not, there's parts that aren't the greatest. But I think it takes an effort of people like Yellow Cab, like the Century Bar, like people to put effort into building everything up. Like you're doing Film Speak from Dayton. Growing up, I always loved, public access TV.
Yeah.
And I think something like this, when you expose and you talk in a positive light about our area, I think it's a great thing.
And I have to, because we're about to go to our next segment, which will be talking about John Carpenter's Escape from New York. But before we do, I have to do a big tip of the hat to you, Izzy. Just fabulous job
Thank you,
on
buddy.
the podcast festival.
Yeah, it was fun.
Podfest. And watch out for next year, 2017.
That's right.
It's going to get bigger and bigger, I think, every year.
Yeah.
Because great people, great dialogue. I mean, you just, I'm absolutely impressed,
Izzy
brother.
rocks.
Yeah, you're awesome, brother.
Thanks, man.
Well, stay tuned. We're going to take a little short break, and then we'll be right back to talk about Escape from fucking New York. It's just awesome. Bye.
We're back. We're on.
Oh, we are? Whoops. Busted. Okay, I'd like to take this little time here to talk about movies, because this is Film Speak. If you are somebody interested in filmmaking, or you're just interested in films, these are some movies I think you should see. Pulp Fiction is top, because that's the movie that made me want to be a filmmaker. Might not be your style. Annie Hall, Woody Allen, 1977. I consider this a very important movie, especially if you want to talk about writing and editing. This movie, I use it in class to talk about writing and editing. Touch of Evil. Aside from Charlton Heston being a Mexican in it, this is an Orson Welles film and just brilliant film noir. And speaking of film noir, Billy Wilder's Double Indemnity. Have you ever seen Double Indemnity? This is almost the movie that gave birth to film noir. Maltese Falcon came a couple years before. But Double Indemnity really solidified the whole film noir genre. I mean, just to see Fred McMurray play a bad guy. Other films, the first two Godfathers. You just pretend like Godfather 3 didn't happen because it's that horrible. Hitchcock's North by Northwest, Rope. Psycho, of course. The Trouble with Harry. Dial M for Murder. These were all films where camera shots and things that we take for granted in filmmaking today were first used. So that makes it important for a filmmaker to be able to see. I'm also a big fan of Wes Anderson films. If you haven't seen The Royal Tenenbaums, I highly recommend you see The Royal Tenenbaums. Paul Thomas Anderson, his use of camera in Boogie Nights, Punch Drunk Love, There Will Be Blood, is unparalleled among most filmmakers who are working today. Just some ideas. If you need something to Netflix, you need something to go Q, check out Hitchcock, Paul Thomas Anderson, early Woody Allen. I love Woody Allen films, but after 1988, he could have just stopped. No offense, Woody. I mean, you've made some decent films, but, well, whatever. Anyways, go watch films. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Welcome back to Film Speak. Sitting here with my guest, the Gym City Podcast, well, half the Gym City Podcast crew.
A chunk of us, yeah.
A portion.
A good-sized chunk. We're about to start talking about Escape from New York.
Yes, we are.
This movie, huge impact on me as a kid. My mom was so fickle, because I was a movie geek, right? I mean, at the time, she wouldn't take me to see Poltergeist, right?
She wouldn't?
No, she wouldn't.
Oh.
It was PG-13. You know, that's what they actually created the PG-13 rating for.
For your mom?
Was Poltergeist. For my mom. And I was 11 at the time, so she was like, I'm not going to take you. She wouldn't take me to go see E.T. at first.
What?
Because she thought it was going to be scary, right? But she went and saw Escape from New York at the drive-in, and she was like, oh, well, this is rated R, but it's okay.
Now, what's your drive-in?
Dixie. I was living in Northridge at the time, and I went and saw it at the Dixie Drive-In.
Captain Kidd for me.
Captain Kidd, dig it.
All the time.
Yep, I used to go to Belmont.
Okay.
Belmont,
all right.
There you go. But yeah, loved it. I've always been a fan of the anti-hero.
Yeah.
I think it's because I was a small, sickly kid, got bullied a lot, you know, and anti-heroes were the guys who bullied the bullies.
Yep.
Right.
You know?
No good guys.
No good guys,
No good
yeah.
guys.
And that was Snake Plissken.
Yeah, the whole movie has no good guys.
No, not really.
Even the president.
It's very noir, because like in noir, you know, you have bad guys and worse guys, you know, and that's kind of the format for Escape from New York. And what a great cast.
Oh, God.
I mean, yeah, Kurt Russell, Adrienne Barbeau, who was married to John Carpenter at the
Who does
time.
not love Adrienne Barbeau, though? Come on.
Okay, for my,
Yes.
my love for her began with The Thing, with that, or the Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing?
With that white dress that she
yes.
was wearing towards the end of it.
Yes.
Yeah, Adrienne Barbeau.
Adrienne Barbeau. Yeah.
I don't know which one I want to fuck more, her or Kurt Russell.
I believe she. Depends what day it is. 'Cause I go either way myself. Now, wasn't Adrienne Barbeau in Playboy?
Yes, she was.
1972. 4 puppies playing. Maybe a little too much detail. I might remember that, but I believe she was playing with puppies.
That is burned into Mark's brain.
I believe she was playing with puppies in my locker. So, I may be wrong, but I don't think I am.
I can't disagree with you, because you know, the centerfolds. Well, you know, luckily we have the mouse, because either one you could do with one hand. Either, you know, holding the centerfold up or cruising with the mouse, you still have a hand free.
I would like to say special thanks to Pornhub. Free porn on my phone is amazing. Genius
Wherever
idea.
you go. Let's see who else. Harry Dean Stanton,
Yes.
who's one of my favorite actors.
Brain.
He's great.
Love him.
What was the HBO show that he was on about polygamy? Big Love.
Big Love.
Yeah, he was great in Big Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love, I think the movie, was it Harry and Tonto? Harry Dean Stanton won him an Oscar at 85, I think, 85, 86. And in which, you know, he never really got big, but he was always just in so many things.
But he's a Carpenter fan too, because he was in Alien.
Yeah.
So he was one of the mechanics in Alien.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Donald Pleasence.
You gotta love him.
Something amazing about Donald Pleasence was he was a POW.
Oh, really?
And he used his experience as a POW to influence how he acted as the president being prisoner in Escape from New York. And what are some other little things that I've noticed over the years from watching it continuously?
He's got Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes.
Yeah,
Come on.
You can't mess with Isaac Hayes.
Yes.
Duke of New York.
Duke of New York.
Fucking one.
Well, then you got the guy who's like his number one guy, the little chicken-haired guy.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha! He had that scream that just was like, oh, that just freaks you out.
Did you notice that they had side characters named Romero and Cronenberg?
No, I did not.
After directors, you know, George Romero and David Cronenberg, which is kind of awesome.
Oh, nice.
That's a nice Easter egg.
James Cameron worked on Escape from New York.
Wow.
He did the matte paintings for the backgrounds.
Oh, very cool. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a completely different skill set.
Yeah, to have. Well, you know, at the same time that was being done, James Cameron was having his breakout with Roger Corman doing, I want to say Battle of the Planets, but I don't think that's it. It was like a sci-fi, low-budget remake of The Seventh Samurai.
Okay.
If you ever get a chance to see it. I mean, it is just low budget as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun.
Cool.
We like low budget.
Dig it.
And we like fun.
And we like fun.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, just so much went into like the sets to Escape from New York were repainted and reused by Ridley Scott to do Blade Runner.
Wow.
And then they were repainted again and used by for Batman.
One of the Batmans?
Yeah, the first one.
Okay.
With Michael Keaton.
Oh, that's a good one.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of funny that my three favorite movies from the 80s of mine
Same
all had the
spot.
same set.
You can visit that spot and the big bucket list check off.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Dig that.
Huge.
It would just 3 movies right off the bat. I'm just going to stand here and jerk off. Nobody look at me!
Stop looking at me! Pornhub. No, but the movie's perfect though.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie. You know, you always try to find at least one critique in a movie just to go that. There's nothing in that. As far as I can tell.
No. I mean, from every moment, from when Adrienne Barbeau and Kurt Russell's like, "Come on," and she looks back and Brain's dead, and she just stays there to die, try to take out Isaac Hayes.
And he believed it.
Yeah, and you
Just
totally believe it.
Just take the gun.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can say to make you come with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you see this in the theater, Mark?
I believe I did. I was driving, actually. I was driving.
Yeah.
But even the little details are amazing, like the chandeliers hanging off the car.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were stuck in a place and you knew you were not going to get out and there were no rules except your rules, I want chandeliers in my car. Make it happen. Boom.
First time I think that I'd ever seen anything like that, and how many times has it been imitated since?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
How many I Pimp Your Rides have put it, because Isaac Hayes, you know, having those chandeliers in the front of the car.
Probably his idea.
You know, now that movie, they filmed it. They didn't actually film it in New York. The only scene that was filmed in New York was the one on Ellis Island.
Okay.
And that was it. The rest of it was filmed in Indiana. There had been a big fire that had wiped out 3 or 4 neighborhoods, and they went and they filmed there.
What part?
I can't remember. I think it's near Gary.
Oh, yeah, that's a good spot to do it.
Yeah, if you want post-processing.
Theoretically, yes, you can film it today. Be good. That'd be just fine. But even down to the music. I mean, obviously Carpenter does the music thing. That's just perfect every movie. But it just brings you along for the ride. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just that beat. You're just waiting for the next thing to happen.
Well, you know, the first person that they wanted to play Snake Plissken was Clint Eastwood.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of funny because imagine Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef
Yeah.
being in the same film. I mean, because, they did 2 of the Man with No Name series together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kurt Russell kind of does a Clint Eastwood impersonation for the whole movie.
Well, I mean, he is like, if you were just like, 15-year-old boy and you were just trying to think of the most macho thing you could do, you'd put him in fatigues with boots, an eye patch, and a tattoo, and you would just talk gruff and, it's like that. It's
The eye patch was Kurt Russell's contribution to the character because he felt that the character needed an eye patch. Was originally written for it. And it freaking works
because
perfect.
you're close to being a pirate at that point. Everybody wants to be a pirate, But I mean, the whole thing is just exudes.
And I've often wondered because the whole Snake Plissken. I thought she was dead, right? I know one other movie that's in, and that is John Wayne's Big Jake.
Oh, okay.
And every time anybody sees Big Jake, their reaction to him is Big Jake. I thought she was dead. And that's the only other movie where I know of where they have like a running joke. So I've always wondered if Carpenter got that. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I also like about it, and I like movies that drop you in.
Yeah.
They don't need a half hour of building up to how you got to this. I mean, they drop him in. Snake Plissken's already got a legend. He's already a legend. He's already been, he's already dead theoretically.
Yeah.
Everybody already knows him. They have a couple little lines of text saying, "Hey, this is why New York is this way."
In the original screenplay, they had a scene where Snake Plissken he's robbing a Federal Reserve with a couple other guys, and it's the scene where he gets taken prisoner. But because of budget reasons, it was cut from the script.
But you don't need it.
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, just drop it in, and let it happen.
The little accidents. I mean, Lee Van Cleef scenes, right? A bunch of them are out of focus. And the reason they're out of focus is because they couldn't afford to bring Lee Van Cleef back for reshoots. Right? And so they were just basically, got to use them the way they are. But I think it works because it adds to the grittiness and the context of the film.
Yeah. Even though this isn't the future, it's dark and nasty and like, damn it.
It's the future in 1997.
Yes.
If they only knew.
Damn it, it sucks.
Mark, how do you feel about the origin story movies that people have now, like the Marvel movies and stuff?
I don't think they're needed.
Yeah, you don't?
I mean, you don't go into Spider-Man and you don't need to keep telling me about the little spider that bites you.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, if you don't know by now.
And they're not, the new Spider-Man, they're not doing an origin movie.
Well, good.
Yeah, they figure you've seen it enough, they're just going to pick up with it.
I mean, Wolverine, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We've already gone through there. And read a comic book. I mean, you're not going to go to Wolverine without knowing you think it's.
Now, I mentioned this earlier because they are talking about redoing Escape from New York.
You said you were going to tell me.
I was going to tell you here.
Ooh.
To play Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt.
Well,
Yeah, see? It just completely just threw you in another fucking direction, didn't it?
Well, yeah. What?
Emily Blunt, a female Snake Plissken, a female war criminal who gets dropped into a criminalized New York to rescue the president. Yeah, see? Curious. Like I said.
Very concerning.
I'm more pleased about that than I am Dwayne Johnson playing in Big Trouble Little China.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's some food for thought for you people. We have to wrap it up now. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Wave at all three cameras. Be all right.
Yeah, all three cameras, just to make sure that we freaking hit it. Guys, thank you very much for coming on.
Cool, man.
Thanks, brother.
Nice.
I hope that you will take from this to go and see Escape from New York if you haven't.
It's not on Netflix. And don't get Escape from New York confused.
With Escape from LA.
Don't watch that.
Yeah.
Don't
Look,
do it.
I love John
Evil.
Carpenter. I'm actually doing another John Carpenter episode coming up in 3 episodes. That's how much I love John Carpenter. But that's the one movie of his where I just pretend like it didn't happen.
He lost a bet or something.
Yeah, he lost a bet.
He did.
Yeah, I bet if you're going to look for it locally, you could go to Game Swap and Kettering,
probably have it.
Second Time Around.
Yeah, it'll be
or
everywhere.
Omega Music.
My house has it.
Actually, Escape from LA is on Netflix.
Oh, God, yes. Still don't watch it. Even if it's free, don't watch it. It's
Not good, huh?
Oh, my God.
It's
so
freaking
bad.
awful. As much as I love John
It's
Carpenter.
Hudson Hawk. It's just that bad.
Actually, I liked Hudson Hawk more.
I liked Hudson Hawk. It's been a long time since I saw it, but I liked it.
You can't go wrong with Bruce Willis.
That's right.
I'd want to fuck him just as much as Kurt Russell.
Oh no, I'll take Kurt Russell on a day.
Yeah, David Addison. When I was a teenager in the '80s, moonlighting had such a huge impact on me. Anyways,
I man crush Kurt Russell all day long.
We're about to get on another tangent, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching Film Speak. Stay tuned for the outros and any other bullshit that I might have coming up, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.
God, that was just freaking awesome.
That was awesome.
Well, that was a great episode. I mean, Mark and Izzy, great guys. And thank you, Izzy, for the coffee, because I'm going fucking nuts off of it. This stuff was hard hitting. This is just a great way to have the show. Having my friends come on, people from local filmmakers, people who support local filmmakers. Gem City Podcast is an important thing in the area. If you haven't checked it out, get on the internet and look it up. And stay tuned for events too. Look up local bands. Check out new restaurants. Support Dayton, or if you don't live in Dayton, support the area that you do live in. Local business owners and artists need your help. Thanks for joining Film Speak. We'll see you later.
Thank you.